I just cleaned my work area, so of course the dogs wouldn't lay there. My name is Jesse, and I found this. I picked this up from a guy in Pleasanton. It was his parents. He thought they got it brand new in the 70s, but I thought it was much older. I think I found some square-headed nails in the back of this, and those were a lot more common in the late 1800s. This dresser has oddly short legs, and it's missing one, so I'm just going to quickly replace this back leg with some scrap wood I have. That family would just put a brick under it, and they were like, "Do you want the brick?" "No thanks." I made this tool for punching nails from a really big screw. I think this piece has a lot of character. I like that you can see the dovetailing on the corner here. I'll sand away most of the scratches and keep the deep ones. Old rustic furniture might not actually be in style, but it's fine. I'll just struggle to sell it. The top is coming up right here. I'm hoping some wood glue will be enough to hold this down. I got this C-clamp from Harbor Freight some years ago. We'll see how this board does at 15,000 psi. This dresser used to have a really cool mirror with tiny drawers that were improperly attached, so now there are screw holes on the top. Some mini Wolverine claw marks here, bub. The glue and sawdust will have to do. Hey, I can't believe the wood glue worked. And now to clean up this top. I go through a lot of these circle sandpapers. I found a bag of old sandpaper. This one's 80 grit. I use them to get in these crevices. I used this gray stain on a previous project, and after giving it a thorough shaking, this stain goes on too thick. And I could tell right away that it's not doing what I want it to, and I refused to stop trying. I'm trying to find a solution, but I'm just making more problems. So let's mess with these drawers. I hate dealing with this sticky paper. How is it that it's already coming up in some corners, but then the rest is impossibly strong? These spots are either from ink spots, or the sticky paper's black soul got onto the drawer. The drawer pulls are designed to have 4 screws in the face of the drawer. Some of them don't have the bottom screws, so they got a little bent. So I just use all of my strength to carefully correct it. The previous owners must have put different drawer pulls on this bottom drawer here, and they drilled big holes to do it. This dresser has a lot of crevices. I just use a folded up piece of sandpaper for that. In this dresser, somehow the walls and the drawers were really banged up. I've never seen that before, so I'm just going to hit it off with a sander. I'm running low on my stash of found sandpaper. This is 80 grit. This bundle of paper was left in my garage. I have no idea where it came from. I can feel the sand falling off when I fold it, so I assume it's been in my garage for several years. Whoa, easy there. The inside of this drawer is so ugly. I guess that's why the previous owner went with the sticky paper. Yeah man, that's not gonna come up. Because the bottom drawer had the wrong drawer pulls, I'm going to move the top drawer pulls to the bottom drawer and get new ones for the top. So I got to fill these little holes. I'm just going to sand away this gray stain. Let's try white stain. I've never heard of that before. And right away, it's obviously too thick. It's worse than using actual paint for this. And when I wipe it off or rub it in, it's still too thick and really splotchy. so I guess I'll just keep going. I grew up in Sunnyvale, which used to have a lot of orchards. When I was in high school, there were still a few orchards near El Camino, like in the middle of some neighborhoods. One time, back then, I was out running home from school and I tried a potential shortcut. I came upon an orchard and cutting through it would have been a legit shortcut. I think it was behind the community center. But because it's an orchard, it's just dirt. And so it was incredibly muddy. My feet were just collecting tons of mud, which is terrible in the middle of a run. But I thought, maybe the ground is drier up ahead, so I kept going. I just kept accumulating more and more mud on my shoes. And it's not a run anymore, now it's like walking on stilts. But by now it's about the same distance to keep going or to turn around, so I just keep going. And that's basically what this white stain is to me, running through a muddy orchard. We'll just keep going and make it work somehow. I just wanted to show the wood grain and lighten it up a little bit, so we'll see. And here I'm going over it with 60 grit sandpaper, and I like the way this is looking, but that scratched things up a lot, so I'll have to go over it with the orbital sander. And this process is obviously using up a lot of these circle sandpapers, but I think it's starting to look how I wanted it. I've seen people lighten up wood furniture before, and I was really hoping this white stain could do that. It was all I could find at Home Depot. They didn't have other products that do this. That little can was about $9. The circle sheets of sandpaper come in like a 50 pack for $18, so they're a little less than 50 cents. So I probably only used like a few dollars worth of those. Some of the rectangular sheets of sandpaper that I used were free. So like this piece is probably just costing me time and frustration a little bit. Like I'm sure there's much better, easier ways to lighten up some wood grain. And I've just shown you one way that's difficult and ridiculous. First step, brush on the stain evenly. Second step, wipe it off with a rag or a towel using all of your strength and weight. Then sand it with 60 grit sandpaper and then correct that sanding with an orbital sander. And that's it. It's easy. I just feel like there's got to be some kind of chemical that I can throw into this stain and it would thin it out, make it easier to use. And I just wish that like my phone would just tell me what chemical I'm supposed to use to do that. Because it very obviously is listening to my conversations and then showing me videos and advertisements for stuff that I brought up. So it should just tell me like, hey, you need this product to do this thing that you're doing. We are listening and sorry, but this will just help you in your video. Instead, I'm just going out here eliminating a way to do it. It's like thanks for nothing, advertisers and phone companies. Okay, I just looked it up. Turns out you are not supposed to shake the can, you're supposed to stir it with a little stick, and you can thin it out with paint thinner. I don't have any of that laying around. I have sandpaper, so I mean I guess I could have got paint thinner. And I'm all out of this white stain, but I still have that can of gray, so I'll try that again with the gray later. So now I know two ways to accomplish this. You can gently mix it with paint thinner or sand it for hours and days with all your might and strength. You know, whatever sounds best to you. Right here you can properly see the 60 grit sandpaper do its work, and then the orbital sander evens it out nicely. That's exactly the gray I wanted in the first place. I'm not about to yellow this thing up with oil-based polyurethane. It's water-based for this guy. Crystal clear satin finish, feels pretty smooth, and doesn't stink as bad. I mean, after messing with all the sanding and staining and more sanding, this smells like the finish line. The finish line. I just gotta put it on smooth. No drips, no runs, and definitely no misses. It's like they say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I've never used a paint sprayer before, but maybe I should look at getting one. Like, I've never even tried to use one, so eventually I'll try it on my house, and maybe I'll feel comfortable doing it on furniture. These drawer pulls are really old and unique, so let's clean them up. They're not really in style, but I just like unique stuff. So we're going to hit it with the brasso. Going to give it the arm. I'm hoping this bar of wax will help the drawers slide a little smoother. I went down to the store and they didn't have screws that match these old ones. In fact, the only ones that were the right size were these silver ones with Phillips heads. And these old flathead ones were really fighting me. Oh yeah, I still need to put on the new drawer pulls. Just a quick little zip zap here. I could not find the same kind of drawer pulls, so I got these that kind of match. I think they're close enough. This dresser and its drawers are really well made, really solid. Like, even though it was missing that one leg, it seemed really sturdy to me. Dang, the inside of the drawer is still nasty looking. So my daughter helped me paint the insides of these drawers gray, which is pretty much the same color of those dark spots. She was really happy to be involved, but she's being extremely cautious as not to spill any paint. Like, there isn't even any paint on the brush right here. Well, I think that looks pretty good. The stain turned out pretty much how I wanted it, though I will never do it that way ever again. Eventually, a lady from Oakland bought it, and we were on to the next project. Let me know in the comments if you would have done things differently.